What's good, fellas? Patriarch Panda here. In today's guide, I'll be teaching you how to play Warwick, the beast of 2x KO. But let's head into it. So, obviously, when we get started, we need to talk about the strengths and weaknesses. This time, I'm going to talk about the strengths. That way, the weaknesses will make sense after I'm done talking about it. So, first one is that you've got very good movement, right? You can pretty much move anywhere on the screen very quickly, right? Look at that. We're across the screen in a matter of seconds. So, he's a pretty fast character with his movement being insanely good. Like, you can backdash away from a lot of stuff, you can make stuff whiff, right? And you can actually just move around with a lot of your specials, right? Look at that. Like, that's a full screen overhead. Like, okay, run in, overhead. Or you can go like flip and then keep going away and then mess him up with assists, right? So Warwick has a ton of movement, and playing into that is going to make it very tricky for your opponent to hit you. The next one is that you've got surprisingly good pokes, right? Your pokes from like pretty far. This is like mid-screen, and for a Rushdown character have hits that are like this, where it's got some good reach. Not usual, not usual. I mean, look at that 2M. That's a far-reaching 2M. Again, it feels like he's just made to always be in range. Here, you're in range as Warwick, right? That's it. You're in range to do whatever from here. Next thing is that you've got some really unpredictable offense with this character, right? Not only do you have pretty good stagger-like normals with like how far they reach, but you've also got a Rekka series with S2. Rekkas are basically string series where you can delay the hell out of the outcome. So basically you can do dun 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 dun, right? And as you can see, super delayed. What makes the Rekka series cool is that they're a good stagger like pressure thing, right? The fact you can delay the hell out of them means that you can do stuff like this, and if you're wrong, cover it with an assist. So he's got some really good stagger pressure, and then you mix in the demon flip, right? Got a command grab, got a cross up tool, right? You have another cross up tool, and this cross up tool can be plus unblocked, by the way. You do have some unpredictable offense, right? You can go overhead, you could do a cross up, you could do a command grab, you could also do an overhead from here, you could do a low from this, you could do like a normal throw into a pickup because you got a pickup. So it's very strong. So it feels like his offense is very unpredictable, and he can do whatever he wants. But what's the next big thing? And that is he has really good anti-airs. Insanely good anti-airs. As you can see, you can bump them with 2H, or you can bump them with this, and then go straight into super. So he has some immaculate anti-airs. I believe this move as well can also anti-air. Yeah, your standing S1, 5S1, can also anti-air above your head. So if you're in a situation where you think your opponent's just going to jump about while you're in the middle of this, sometimes you don't need to meet them with the flip out, right? You can just go back down to earth, get a pickup, right? So his anti-airs are also really good. This also includes the assist. And then off the assist, get a pickup, right? So Warwick has some amazing anti-airs to really use, right? There isn't really a situation where you're going to lose in a ground to air scenario with these tools. The next thing that's worth talking about, and that is obviously Warwick's blood, right? When you've got your beast meter full, this character becomes even more scary. You know that unpredictable offense we talked about a moment ago? It gets even more unpredictable, right? You gotta do this. That's a cross up. The opponent needs to block that. It comes out very quickly. Gain access, special cancels, right? So this Rekka series now becomes a 5-hit one, and you know, because that gives you more hits to delay, that means it's a very good mix-up option where you're going to catch some type of mash out. But guess what? You can also do special cancels. So you can do this as an instant overhead. Your offense becomes even more unpredictable with beast mode, but we'll talk about how that works later. Again, we're just on the strengths and weaknesses. The thing I know about Warwick is that he does a lot of damage off of any basic confirm. We won't use blood meter just yet. So yeah, take a look at this. This is a basic B&B. Basic B&B. Up, not that optimal, very, very basic. You did half their health, right? So with this character, you're going to be hitting like a truck, right? Which again, is a bit unusual for Rushdowns. Rushdowns need to tend to work for their damage. This guy just gets it. Next, we're going to talk about his weaknesses now. And that being that his offense can be too predictable if you're predictable, right? So for example, let's say in neutral, when you've got all these movement options, right? You've just been doing this. Right? You've just been doing this, and you've been doing this, right? These both lose to an anti-air. So doing this And this will just make you lose to an opponent who's ready, right? So yeah, using both these will just like make you lose to anti-airs, and that's what you've got to keep in mind. Using both of these will just make you lose to anti-airs, right? So don't be predictable, right? If you're predictable with this character, you're just going to get punished, right? Because as you can see, once you're predictable, you're easy to call out, and that's going to lead to losses. So don't be predictable with your unpredictable offense. That's the first big weakness. The next thing to note is that your assists aren't really that crazy, right? Darius, I would say he was in the same boat, but like he did have access to this, which I thought was interesting, right? That's a vortex, right? So for some characters like Warwick, doing something like that is amazing because that is a cross up left right, you know, where you can set up a Darius left right scenario. So that's strong. The assists you have access to are kind of pathetic, right? So you've got this anti-air, like we said earlier, this is a good one, and you've got this one where he'll power through and hit the opponent. So yeah, when it comes to the assists, they're kind of pathetic. This one is a charge forward, which will just lose to projectiles, right? It's like the Darius shoulder. It's not that good. Like, don't get me wrong, if you get a hit, it's not too bad, because it does lead to a pickup, like so. But, like, that's it. It's just a hitbox that you're sending out, so it's not too hot, but you know what, it's worth representing sometimes. The next problem that this character can come across is that zoning can be a bit of a nightmare, right? Despite the fact you do have some counter tools like this, run forward or the dive like that, a good zoner will not let you get in that easily just through using special moves. So you've got to be like smart with it. You've got to be able to mix up between your tools, because as you see, I'm getting hit my start up trying to get through. So you got to be all like, okay, need to be smart with it, or I just need to play the neutral ground and then aim for an interruption, right? Sometimes that's what you got to do. Like, oh, I'm just running in, I'm going to get the hit. Oh, sometimes I'm going to use the special to get through, or sometimes I'm just going to send it, get a pickup, do whatever. But you have to be smart. You have to be smart. Zoners can make your life a hell as Warwick. So yeah, let's talk about your mindset. So this is going to be the main thing where we talk about how you need to think when playing as Warwick, right? You need to think this way. These are your goals, is the best way to put it. And the first one is kind of aiming for with punishments or just trying to land a raw option, right? There's going to be some matchups where you don't have to play into the opponent's space. You're both playing into each other. So like if you're fighting against Warwick or Darius, he isn't going to zone you, right? You're both actually playing in each other's space. So waiting for a whiff move to actually hit them is the play with like Warwick sometimes, right? So being able to go like, oh, you missed a move, bump, 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 dun, 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 and cashing out is pretty good. And then sometimes just sending out a special move is a good reaction check, like just hitting them with this is a good idea, because like let's say they're setting up something, like they're doing a Jinx special, boom, yeah, I see you're playing Jinx, alright, send it out there. Oh, you shot a projectile, bump, I'm in. Or sometimes it's like, okay, I see you're playing grounded, let me just jump over you like this. I see you're trying to anti-air me, let me delay my get in, and then do command grab, that way I get a turn, right? So you need reaction check your opponent, and you also need to play fundamental footsies, right? So you gotta be able to play between both at a moment's notice, and I think that's the main thing to look for. And then once you're in, you wanna be able to mix up between your options. This is an aggressive character that has many options at his disposal, right? So you need to be able to go like, oh, I'm going to go for overhead. Oh, I'm going to go for flip out onto wall mix up, right? Which is plus, by the way. So you need to be able to mix up your options when you play this character, right? You need to be able to do everything. So that's your mindset. When you're in, go between doing multiple things. Your Rickas, your flip outs, and just delayed offense with your assist. Honestly, like it's the way to go. And then your last goal, your main goal at the end of the game, let's say you're doing insanely well with Warwick, is to build up your blood, right? And all of your tools that do S2 build blood, and we'll talk about that later, right? We'll talk about that when we get to that. Let's get started with neutral, and as we did talk about, he does have some pretty good neutral pokes. As you can see here, this tool reaches so damn far. Very good tools on his M's and in his H as well. It does have some pretty good reach, including his free H, right? So when you're playing neutral, sometimes it's worth throwing out a good 5M or 2M when you're mid-screen, right? Don't be afraid, right? Do not be afraid. Just send it sometimes. As we saw, S1 is a pretty good tool. It has pretty good reach, so if you want to try beat a projectile, you see Jinx going in and shooting those booms, send it, get the hit, and you can confirm this pretty easily, and we'll be talking about the confirms later on, so do not worry. The other thing about the run-in that's pretty good, so not only is it an overhead that gives you a knockdown into whatever, You can actually do a cancel and press up, and that'll let you do a flip out like this. You can also gain access to this flip out by pressing down S1 as well. So if you're doing S1 into up, you can do down S1 to get the flip. And the flip is pretty good as you've got the dive through if you press light. Medium gives you access to this overhead cross up, that's pretty good because it's safe on block, and the lower it is to the ground, it's actually plus. If you do it from like here, it's like +3. And it also gives you an easier time landing the full combo afterwards. And then his command grab is actually a pretty good way to beat anti-airs. If you notice that your opponent's anti-airing a lot, you can just send this. This is the way to go. Pretty good. So you'll lose to anti-airs like this that reach dead high, but any grounded 2Hs, you can beat it with this. You really can. And it's pretty decent as well, because with an assist, you can actually get a pickup. So be sure to use this with an assist. It's a pretty good anti-air option. EH isn't that bad of a tool. As you can see, it reaches really far. From over here it can reach, right? Main problem about the tool is that you want to be careful because unblocked, you can't cancel it, right? No matter what. As you can see, blocked, and it's -11, right? No cancels, can't do anything. So I recommend when you use free H, use your tag alongside it. That way, there's a bit of safety to the tool if you're going to send it out. But it's a pretty good neutral poke because in neutral, a lot of time people are moving around. They aren't blocking their shins, right? So being able to catch something like that in neutral is pretty strong. One great strategy with this character, and it's probably one of my favorites. Let's say you're fighting someone who isn't running double down, and they use Jinx gun super. Pretty common that you'll see this a lot of the time, right? Maybe with freestyle or something like that. Let's say they send it, let's say they want to make a raw read, like a lot of Jinxes do. This move is punishable, but getting the punish can be tricky at times, right? Because sometimes they may be in the air, or sometimes you were at max distance and your characters are slow. Warwick has an easy answer, which is you can just do level 1, right? So let's say you just need an easy kill, and you don't want to worry about break, and you just want to punish it. You can level 1. So if you see a super that's out of reach, and you want to punish it, send S1 super. Very strong. So a very strong tilt to use in neutral as well is jumping S1, right? It has some reach, as you can see, and on hit is +9, so that means you can link into a light. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty tight to link, but the main reason why you're doing this is that in an air-air scenario, let's say you're fighting your opponent, and they're trying to jump in on you, like beat you in the sky, this will actually beat them every time, and you get to actually get a full pickup. So keep your eye out. If you're in the sky, sometimes going for an air isn't too bad, but if you want to win it, jumping S1 can be pretty good. So yeah, now we're going to talk about your offense and how do you open up people, right? So as you know, Warwick, probably one of the most aggressive characters in the roster. How do you open someone up? And that is, he has many ways to open people up. We talked about it earlier with the demon flip, we talked about it with the overhead, we talked about it with the low, talked about it with the records, but let's get into them a bit more in depth, and that being the demon flip with assist is very strong, right? With assist, this tool becomes essentially unchallengeable in the corner, and it can lead to tag outs, it can lead to cross ups, and it can lead to some cheeky left-right scenarios. So on the positive, if you're someone that's defending all this, these are all mids, right? These are all mids, but the main thing that can make them scary, Vortex on the flip on the wall here. As you can see, it pulls the opponent out of the corner. I mean, characters like Yasuo would love this because that would put them in the corner and cross slash, right? So you could do something like this and actually steal the corner. So you can do some nasty left-rights depending on some assist. So it's actually pretty strong because it lets you stagger away with some assists, and with others it lets you just gain access to the corner and do some left right. It's not a fun time, so make sure to really mix in your assists with the demon flip, as it'll give you a ton of free reign to do what you want. But the overhead is actually pretty good as well, because the overhead is only -6. These characters with 6 framers can punish it, like Vi or Blitzcrank's command grab, but with an assist it can actually be pretty good. As you can see here, my pressure is still on. And if you get a hit, that's actually pretty good because you can get a combo by doing forward S2, 6S2 into the SS2 Rickers, so just mashing it like this. will actually give you a pretty good combo scenario. So able to land this overhead, send this, and get a pickup. And as a full overhead, the opponent will be hit if they're blocking low. So keep that in mind. Now the Rekka is very strong because let's say your opponent is in the challenging mood, right? As you can see, the entire Rekka string is chew on block, right? But you can do varied timings, and this leads to a pickup with assists. So you can go bump, 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 ba bump, 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 ba bump, boom, boom. You can open up the opponent with varied timings like this, and you get the corner. It actually builds up your beast meter there at the bottom. And when you get the hit, the scaling on it is not too bad. I mean, look at this. For basically hitting someone from Ashen, 57%, that's not too bad. So use this with assist and try open up the opponent with some delayed Rekkas. Really delay your timing, so go like S2, 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 right? Delay. Alright, up next is your throwing offense. Now your throwing offense is actually pretty good, right? If you get a throw, you get a throw pickup. Only in the corner. Only in the corner, right? If you're mid-screen, you don't get a pickup, right? As you can see, there's no way to land the pickup from here. Even if you're super optimal, there's no way. You need to kind of go into assist like this to get a pickup, but normally you're not going to get it. So keep that in mind. You're not going to get a pickup with forward throw unless it's in the corner, and then that's a full combo. That's a full ass combo you're getting. Alright, that's kind of everything with offense you need to know. You've got your lows, you've got your overheads, you've got your corner, you've got your Rekka series that you're going to go crazy with, right? And keep in mind this is a starter guide. This is only supposed to get you started so you can develop crazier game plan things. Because as you can see with this, being able to pull the opponent out of the corner is strong, right? That small space can be made yours with the left-right. I'm just saying, it's strong, it's strong. But the next part of the guide, we're going to talk about beast mode. How do we get it? Well, there's many ways to get beast mode, but it can be very difficult. It can be. As we know, any special using S2 will give it, right? Your chomp, your anti-air gives a ton of it. I mean, look at that. That's like a whole third, right? So if you're able to land this in a combo, as you can see, this full combo just built me an entire bar because I landed an anti-air with an assist, right? So using any of these tools will give you a ton of beast opportunity. And the main way to build a ton of it, I would say, is hit confirming into this super here, which is your super 2. So combining S2 with any button will build a good chunk of it, right? So that's something you gotta keep in mind. The next step to keep in mind is that a happy birthday will actually give you full beast mode insanely easy, right? So I'm going to show you right now. Calls in Jinx, and we just go S2, S2, S2 into super like this. You just got full beast because every hit counts as hitting 2 people. So during a happy birthday, if you see a happy birthday opportunity, confirm into super as soon as possible. You'll gain so much out of it. Look at that. Look how much I gained, right? So a simple combo, like dun dun into that, is going to give you beast. So if you want to beat break and you want instant beast and you've got a happy birthday, that's the way to go. Another way to get instant beast is to go straight into level 3, right? Level 3 is an insanely good way to go about it. So if you're neutral, you need iframes, or you need to be able to get a full combo into damage, just send the level 3. That's the way to go. Now you're probably wondering, how do we use beast mode? That's a different matter. So you know how your offense is already super strong, right? It gets even stronger. Now you have a cross-up tool, right? It is unsafe, so use an assist to keep it covered. And then get the combo if it's been hit, or if it's been blocked, maybe do a tag for the full pickup, or to stay safe, right? That's what I recommend doing, right? So that's what you gain. Your forward S1 is now a cross-up. Your forward S2, this is the main way you've been doing your pickups, is now a hit that deals massive amounts of damage. And that's the thing, with your simple combos like this, your V&Bs, instead of doing your chomp, you're going to do this beatdown, and then you're going to special cancel into the Rekkas there, into the super. And it's going to deal so much more damage, and you're going to gain so much out of it. So that's something you got to keep in mind now. This bite is now a pounce, and because of that, forward throw now gives you a full combo. Didn't give you that before. You're able to go like, okay, full combo. But it can be a bit tricky and there's a lot of scaling, so you need to lap that out. There are some combos we'll be shown later, so don't worry about it. You'll know as well, your movement speed goes up. So already the fastest character in the game gets insanely faster. Right? The overhead is now going to be reaching your opponent very quickly. The thing as well, you gain access to your flip stance off of jump. Right? So that means off of a simple jump. So whenever you did flip, it was kind of choreographed, right? So you kind of just did it like that. It's kind of choreographed. Whereas now you're able to go like jump back into dive bomb, right? And if you played old Street Fighter, you know how strong it is being able to gain access to a dive kick from up back, right? Like just being able to do that is super strong. Like, look how much you're able to gain off that. Like, that's pretty good. And then obviously if any of them hit, you get a combo. So this character kind of becomes nutty with beast mode. And you can cancel into this double jump. You go bump, 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 bump. It can be insanely good. So you've gained access to a strong double jump, you've gained access to insanely good movement, and you gained access to just nasty offense, honestly. This character just becomes way stronger having a cross up that you can do from Rika like this. Yeah, he gains access to a lot. So beast mode, get experimental. This is all I can really say here. There is no wrong answer when you have fun with this. Alright, up next are your combos, and we're going to talk about it without the beast mode first, and then with beast mode for some of the things. And that is off of your fire hit in 5M. If you get a very fire hit in 5M, you want to do something like this. You won't be able to do that. You need to be able to do this instead, which is the way to go. It'll give you a full combo, solid pickup, and you're confirming for 46%. So if you get a very far hit in 5M, like if you're here and you think you're going to get a far one, go straight into Rika or go straight into the overhead, into the pickup with forward S2. But I go for a different routing, and it can be a bit trickier for sure. It can be very tricky for sure because it's all assist reliant. Demon flip into one assist, so like this. And then you're able to get a super pickup as well. So depending on your assist, you really need to time it. And as you can see, you got full combo. So that's something you can go for. I recommend Blitzcrank if you want that pickup. I think it makes it super easy, but you can do it with someone like Darius who doesn't really have good assists, so that's good to know. Now, off of a close hit in 5M, you want to do this. This will be your basic B&B, and it will be very reliable. You're not really messing up with this. Off a flip light, you want to go straight into light like this, and then go into the B&B, and you'll get some good damage off of that. If you flip into medium like this, you can go straight into a medium pickup, which is also pretty good, basic B&B. And if you get thrown in the corner, we talked about it earlier, do the jump, Rika series, into super like this. Pretty simple, and it's going to be the same with your overhead, the exact same combo. And if you want Oki instead, this is something to note. If you're ending any of these supers, you can do this instead if you want to be able to gain Oki off of any of your supers, but you won't gain blood. That is the only downside. No blood gain on this super, but you do gain amazing Oki. Look at that, I'm right in front of my opponent, plus 43. It's up a throw. Now you're probably wondering what do you do with combos when it comes to beast mode, and they're a bit the same, honestly. You can do this off of your normal launcher. You want to keep it simple. And then you can go anti-air into level 1 super since you don't need the beast mode anymore, and you'll get so much damage off of it. If you land a Rika starter, you can actually go into this cross-ups like this, and then go into the same routing as before, like that. And you'll gain so much out of it. You can also go for even more extensions, so let's say you land like one of these type of attacks. And as you can see, you get so much damage off of this routing. So it's good to experiment with the double flip here, right? As you know, if you do anti-air into up, you'll gain access to this. So that's it for the Warwick guide, that is it for the start, just learning what he does basically, but there's so much more to learn in the character, and I plan on maybe doing something like with Blitzcrank down the line, like a very in-depth guide talking about those two as a pairing and what you can do. But for now, that'll be it with Warwick, and I hope you guys enjoyed the start guide. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya!